Gig coming in at the top of the interview here. Today, my guest is Brent Kirby. Brent Kirby is a local legend. He has done way more than I can cover in one episode, and I tried to track his journey a little bit. I knew a little bit about where he was and all that he's involved with, and we touch upon a lot of things. Brent is playing March 27th virtual CLE shows with Emily Keener and Jenna from Niights. This interview was I came in a little caffeinated. I've been quarantined. I haven't really needed coffee. I've just been waking up at like 11, and I was a little jumpy, a little more jumpy than maybe some of the other interviews. But man, coffee's good. Forgot all about it. Anyway, okay, Brent Kirby, here he is. Listen up, friends. Hey.
Hey, man.
How's it going, Brent?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Hanging in there. Let me get some.
Turn up this volume a little bit.
Can you hear me all right?
I can. Can
Cool,
you hear
cool.
me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, and you're picking up good. Yeah, I like FaceTime way better. For some reason, with my board, it works much clearer than Skype.
Yeah, I haven't used either, so I'm not sure.
You're not missing much.
Well, it's the way of the times. You know?
Yeah, man, it's weird. It's weird.
Weird.
Are you, so you said you were staying kind of clear of Facebook. Is it because of all that? Because of all the people playing gigs?
Well, mainly what I did is I just took it off my phone.
Oh, okay.
And I've had fits and arguments with myself over that. Like, I take it off and then I put it back on. Really, I it's a necessary evil to a musician. So, you kind of got to do it. But on the other hand, if I'm going to be around the house all day, I don't want to hit on my phone because I'll just be tempted to look,
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just trying to visit it a couple times a day and get in and get out quick.
That's a good practice of it, because you're right, because you can't do music nowadays without like being able to invite or send the event page or post it somewhere where people can get access to it or get access to you. But if you got your phone in front of you, you're just like, oh, cool, that's what Brent's doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so easy to get involved with that and like sucked into it. Was it? Well,
it's more about being present, I think, around the house.
Yeah.
Just in with the family and the kids and my wife, and making sure that I'm listening and paying attention.
Yeah, there's enough to be distracted by as a musician.
There is. Well, just as a normal person in this society, there's a lot.
Very true.
Yeah.
How's that been going as far as quarantine distractions? Has it been easier to focus and do more family oriented stuff, or has it been...
Definitely.
Yeah?
It's been easier to focus on those things, and I feel like I've worked hard and a lot, and so I'm out of the house a lot. So there's just my to-do list has kind of stacked up. So, I just kind of go with what I'm feeling for the day. But yesterday I built some shelves for the closet, and
nice.
Got some sawdust out there, and that felt good. I hadn't done that in a while. Yeah, so it's good. It's a blessing in many ways,
Yeah, I was thinking about like a couple weeks ago before. So I think last time we talked was Bright Winter in the VIP lounge, hanging out back there. But
we were hanging.
It was cool. It was a good hang. But I've been so slammed with like teaching and gig after gig after gig. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for spring break. Just like I want to sleep in and have to do nothing. And even on a spring break, I still have to go do normal gigs. And so, like, this first week of, when everything started to go down, my nursing home gigs, they shut off right away. And then the school shut off. And I was like, whoa, I get time to, like, work on things. And, like, I wish it wasn't because of a pandemic, but I'm glad I got to get a minute to breathe for a second. And then 4 days in, you're like, oh, crap.
We've all been shoved into this space without... any anticipation, really, and I think it's going to be a great thing for all of us as human beings to spend time around family and to be with ourselves and have to think, have to deal with whatever those things we have to deal with every day. But sometimes we probably shove aside because we don't have time to deal with our personal feelings or our emotions or things like that. And I feel like that's, we're going to come out of this, hopefully more empathetic and thoughtful people,
Yeah, I hope
That's
so.
my hope.
I
Yeah. I
that's a
mean,
good hope. That's a good hope. I think
yeah, it's better than the alternative for thinking about it.
for sure. I think there's going to be a large amount of people that come out that way, that really take
Yeah.
this time to self-reflect and be with in the moment type of deal. Because I think as soon as you start to think out of the moment, that's when the panic really starts to like creep in. You're like, oh, what's gonna that caught on me? But if you can really hone in and just like take it day by day and learn to keep that mindset, it'll probably help out with the rest of your life when this all blows over.
I think we're definitely going to figure out what we need and what we don't, you
Yeah,
know,
for
and those
sure.
things are going to come clear into focus. And I think that, you know, uh, I think we should make some legislation that Americans get 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off every year.
That would be sick. I think
I
in
think European countries do it.
Yeah,
I
I was
think
gonna
that they
say I
do.
think
So
France has like a lot of time off. I forget who's telling me that or the scope of that. But I heard France has a lot more time off and like they take out like small businesses will just close for weeks and be all right. It's not as
right. I
panicky.
mean, it's I don't know. It can be done, obviously.
Yeah. What was it? So we already started we kind of just jumped right into it. We're at the Zig at the Gig podcast. I'm hanging out with Brent Kirby, talking about we're going to be talking about your show with a virtual show CLE. Um, so with this whole COVID-19 academic, it's academic outbreak.
we're learning. We're learning things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been trying to use my time to like do just that. I wake up every
Right.
morning. I got like 4 hours of like learning stuff I don't know, and trying to do a practice of just that, and trying to be creative and practice creativity. But that aside, what was it with this whole outbreak that really like hit home for you when you realized this was like a thing? Because everyone I've talked to has had different um, realizations that this is happening.
Um, I think it was 2 weeks ago today that I got out of school. I've been teaching in Grafton,
Yeah,
teaching songwriting at a public school in Grafton, and so I had spent all day at the middle school, and on the way home was listening to the governor, and then I heard we're closing the schools, so then I thought, damn, there goes that,
yeah. What was
and
that? Thursday? Was that on a
that was a Thursday,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got the
And
same
so,
memo. It was weird.
yeah, I mean, and so that was the definite realization. It was like, okay, how close am I to a giant eagle?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm 8 minutes away. I'm going to go buy all the crap I need right now, And I was glad that I did, because by the time that I got out, that place had transformed into a zoo.
yeah.
It was crazy.
It was real weird. Like, I don't know if your school's done it, but our school is working on doing online lessons, right? So Thursday we get that text, or we have a group chat chain that all the teachers get, saying the next 3 weeks you're off. Come in tomorrow. We're gonna prepare some online lessons and take it from there. And then like even then for me, I was like, really? And then the next day I went to the Good Kind, that coffee place. You're in
Yeah,
Lakewood, right?
I'm in Cleveland Heights.
Cleveland Heights, okay. And like they wouldn't let me use my reusable cup. I'm like, whoa, this is like it. Like school shut down. They're not letting me recycle. And then so we're prepping all these online lessons and stuff, and it's just like it wasn't like sweet 3 weeks off. I was like, whoa, this is weird. I don't. Are you guys doing anything like that with your students?
We are. They're at spring break this week, so next week we'll dig into that a little bit more.
Gotcha.
I have one dedicated songwriting class, and then I work with some other groups there too. So it remains to be seen what level of involvement will be there. But I know there'll be some,
Yeah.
and I'll be able to still kind of continue, what we've started there. So yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen. It's all a brand new, you know, place for us to be in,
Yeah.
of
What's a
having to do that stuff.
It's weird, man. Right now, we're doing all this stuff, and everyone's, it's like the Wild West of lesson planning. Like, everyone's doing something different, and every teacher and parents trying to figure it out to explain. With your students, how long have you been doing that? How long have you been teaching?
Well, I've been teaching. I've taught with Roots of American Music, which is a nonprofit out of Cleveland Heights, that puts music in the schools. I've been teaching with them for years, with different residencies and
Yeah,
different programs. And then Midview High School, I taught there 2 years ago. I had a residency there, and then this is an all-year residency, so I've been there
that's awesome.
uh, pretty much on average about 4 days a week.
Wow.
So the whole school day, 4 days. So
And do you
it's been
see everybody, like all the grades, or are you like middle school
middle
up?
school and high school
Okay,
mainly. Yeah, but I've been lucky enough to go to some of the other schools and work with third and fourth graders and the fifth and sixth graders and write verses on a district wide song that
that's
they're putting
cool.
together. So
Nice.
it's cool.
Excuse me. Wow.
No, it's okay.
Wow, that's cool. Like, so with the Roots of America, right?
Roots of American Music. Yeah.
Okay. How'd you get involved with that? Is that a
Um,
nonprofit you started, or?
no, no. Kevin Richards is a friend of mine. And I guess I got to know Roots of American Music within my first week of moving to Cleveland back in 2001.
Okay.
And so, I worked with them. They had their first uh, fundraiser at the Sam Ash store. And then, Kevin has always been really great about getting me involved in different things that they're doing. And so I've worked in the office, and him and I went to Washington and, knocked on some doors and
That's
talked to some
awesome.
people. Yeah, so it's been something that's kind of been uh, in my Cleveland experience. Roots of American Music has always kind of been parallel to me and everything that I've been doing. It's always kind of, that presence has always been there. I really appreciate everything that they do, and they've given me work when I've needed it, which is the best thing, and they still
Yeah.
continue to do that with all sorts of musicians. So.
Especially when you're doing music full time, to kind of have like an organization that will work with you makes a big difference, especially financially. So that's really cool.
I think diversification is the key to making a living as a musician. You got
Oh,
to do more than just one thing. I'm sure
100%.
you can attest to that. Yeah,
Yeah. The best. Do you know George Hartwig?
sure.
Um,
Furious.
Yep, Furious George. He was like my first exposure to someone who can do music full time. Like, I met him at a mic night, and he was telling, and I was just at that age where I was going to mic nights trying to play, and he was telling me he was going to do it full time. I'm like, whoa. So I've kind of seen him from when he started going at it full time, and seeing someone who didn't do it but could do it. So it was kind of like a path. And George would
Yeah,
always quote Bruce Lee's "To be like water." Like, water can fit into a cup, water can fit into a bowl, water can flow, and water can crash. Be water. And I was like, he's like, that's like how you have to be when you're doing music. You got to be able to fit in a country group. You got to be able to swing. You got to be able to teach. You got to be able to lead. Just just like how you said. I think that's a fundamental mindset for anyone who wants to do music as a full-time career. It's always
George.
changing.
George told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart, wise thing, George.
Yeah, George is he's that guy's incredible. He can figure out anything and put his whole mind to it and knock it out. Um Man, I lost my train of thought. I haven't talked. He's been streaming a lot too. Everyone been streaming a lot.
A lot of streams.
A lot of streams. That's kind of a cool idea for a song.
I think there's going to be a lot of great music that comes out of this. I think in the end, if you stop musicians from what they're doing and they have to hole up in a house or a place of some kind, they're going to do what they do best. And so I feel like, at the end of this, we're going to see a music explosion.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
I really think we will. I think we're going to see some great stuff that'll come out of people.
Quarantine
That'll be an
Supreme.
exciting time for sure.
So you were saying that was the roots of American music was kind of a foundation when you came back to Cleveland. So you were from Wisconsin, or
I grew up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so moved St. Louis and Nashville and Chicago, and then here lived in Columbus for a little bit. But yeah, 2001. I've been in Cleveland since 2001.
Okay. And were you doing music? When did you start? Like in Wisconsin, growing up, when did you start playing and writing?
I the age is a little bit murky, but I know I wasn't of driving age, and I want to say I was in. I think it was 13 or 14.
Yeah.
That I started to play out with bands.
And that was guitar?
That was drums.
Drums. Okay. Yeah, you're playing drums with the New Soft Shoes, right?
No, the Ohio City Singers I played drums
Ohio
with.
City Singers. New Soft Shoes is the Graham Parsons.
That's the Graham Parsons band. Yeah, I play guitar in that.
So you started on drums. When did you switch over? When did you Dave Grohl it to singer-songwriter?
Yeah, it's a funny thing for drummers to want to get out behind the kit and like express themselves, right? In college, I picked up a guitar, and I couldn't play drums in the dorm room, so
yeah,
a guitar offered me some type of musical outlet, and I think I think I've been writing songs ever since I could try to do something with guitar.
I think as a drummer, you're kind of at this like rise or seeing how the whole song like fades out to some degree, right? Like you're kind of driving that ship.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think that there's drummers that I really that I think about and drum parts that I think about, and I really think the ones that are the favorite to me are the ones that just kind of serve the song. Not too drummery, you know what I mean? Not too much, that it just has what it's supposed to have to support the song. To me, as a drummer, when I play, that's how I approach things.
Well, I
appreciate people who do that, As a songwriter, I guess, I think about the song.
For sure. The whole thing, the whole package of it.
Right.
But as a drummer, when you're playing like that, is it kind of like, I mean, that's how you are now that you're a songwriter, but would you kind of foresee like the whole, like, I'm driving this ship of a band, or was it just like rocking out when you were drumming as your main musical expression? Were you looking at, let me kind of rephrase that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Were you like looking at it as kind of like an arranger of a song because you control the tempo and the dynamics, or were you just rocking out?
I have a rule as a musician, period, that whoever writes the song has the last call.
Gotcha.
And so, I think I'm always open to, if someone writes a song, I want them to kind of express how that is, or they can say, hey, do whatever you want, but I feel like songwriters definitely have an idea in their heads about how things might want to go, and I want to know what that is as a musician playing that song. So I definitely approach it. There's two things that I do when I play drums. I listen to the song, and I don't think parts as much as I think moods and structure. And then I also just watch whoever's singing. I'm always watching them, Yeah. That to me is who's leading the song, and that's who I'm going to watch as a drummer and who I'm going to pay attention to.
Gotcha. Well, I think that's a solid advice for a drummer. I mean, if you watch,
I'm still learning,
Yeah. Was it so when you switched to guitar and you're in were you going for music when you went to college, or was this and where was this? Was this still Wisconsin, or was this Nashville, Chicago, or
University of Wisconsin Oshkosh?
Oshkosh, nice.
Yeah.
And you went for music?
I did. Yeah.
Nice. What was it? Education, bachelor's?
It was recording engineering and music merchandising.
Whoa.
So I had a double major, and then I had a business minor.
Yeah.
and then it was considered a music major, so you had to do all the music major electives, all the requirements for
So
that.
the ear training and the sight
Theory and
singing,
piano and senior recitals and
the juries.
music groups. Oh yeah,
Juries.
lots of different things. Yeah.
What was it? Wow. Okay. So what brought you? You said you went to Chicago next. So did you go through the whole thing? Did you stick with it, or did you meet with a group and venture out?
Oh, you mean just kind of going back?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
played with different groups with the different places that I lived. I played with different groups,
Okay.
mostly drums. It wasn't until I got to Nashville where I actually was fronting a band and playing guitar and writing songs for that band and recording as such. And I think about it now, and there was so much to learn.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that's an intense place to be. Like, I think I'm gonna try being the singer-songwriter in the capital of singer-songwriters to do that in
yeah,
Nashville.
it's an inspiring place for sure, and I met a lot of great people that I still, follow what they do and have the utmost respect for them. I mean, really, yeah, living in Nashville was a great experience.
That's awesome. Because I'd imagine it'd be a little intimidating as a new guy coming in here in like the hub of where like the professionals are.
Yeah, I think I had a little bit of greenness that I didn't even see that
Yeah,
sometimes to be intimidated by it.
that's awesome.
I don't know if I knew it was going on all the time.
Fair, fair enough. I guess that makes it easier to just go out there and do it. Because I feel like a lot of times, like when you see a performer who's just doing it, even if they're not aware of what they're doing, they're not like, oh, they're doing a minor third and now that's a tritone substitution to that. That's why that works. They're just playing it. There's something about someone just going out there and emotionally putting it all out and not worried about the consequences per se.
Yeah, not fitting in the box necessarily. I think that that's when music gets interesting.
Was it when you went to, okay, so you're in Nashville and then you went to Columbus, then Cleveland? Man, I'm trying to follow the map of Brent
That's okay.
Kirby.
That's okay. Wisconsin to St. Louis, and then St. Louis to Nashville, Nashville to Chicago, Chicago to Cleveland.
So were you singing in fronting any bands in Chicago?
I was working for Sam Ash Music at the time, and so I was wanting to get promoted to a position where I could have my own store, and so that happened. I was in Chicago for about 6 months, and I had a band that I had started and was with a group of guys, and we actually had our first gig scheduled on the Friday, but the Tuesday I found out they were moving me to Cleveland,
Whoa.
and so yeah, I felt bad about telling those guys I couldn't do that gig after all those rehearsals. I'm not going to be in town. Sorry, guys.
What? Mate, so did any of that stuff from then, when you moved to Cleveland, when did your luck per se start? Like with the band and like really getting involved with the scene?
Pretty, and I think you're referring to His Luck, the band.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
make a pun, but
So
it didn't roll off right.
That's kind of no, it's a good
Bad
it's a
transition.
Sure. I've always felt lucky.
Hey.
But I think I started. It wasn't too long before I started to play some music, and at Sam Ash where I was working, I was able to meet a lot of the musicians, pretty much from the get go, and that was really helpful in me kind of getting to know some people in the scene and just kind of starting to integrate myself into that. And so I started to play and rehearse with different bands. And, I think at one point I was in 7 bands. I mean, you know how it goes. You kind of just, I'll play with you. I'll play with you. I'll play with you. And just, I've always kind of been that way. Music is just like, it's always just been around me. It's when I wake up or when I go to bed, it's always somewhere close, And so I think it was a natural progression for me to just kind of dive into that.
Gotcha. And the music
And
still.
then just started to play around, and then different bands started to kind of take more priority than the other things.
Gotcha. When did His Luck develop? Was that just.
That was I want to say so I've had with my solo material, and I guess that's not stuff. I write music for the Jack Fords,
Yeah.
and then I have that stuff, and then I have kind of my solo material, and so there's always been a band with that kind of material, and the band's name has changed, but His Luck, I want to say it was about 5 years ago when we were kicking that around.
Well, Jack.
When we started doing it, yeah.
Okay. Was Jack Ford's before?
Jack Ford's was we met and started the band in it was I think it was February of 2005.
Okay.
When we started the Jack Fords.
Wow. Okay. So you came here in 2001. All right. So you're busy.
I've always been busy doing something.
Yeah. I feel it. It's a good way to be. It's weird.
Yeah. I get restless.
Yeah. That's what's going to be weird about this this break. Like, that's why I'm calling you. That's why I'm trying to do something.
Yeah, no, you're doing it, man. You're doing it. A lot of people are. Michelle's doing it. There's so many people that are doing amazing things. It's been really awesome to watch. People just kind of saying this is what we're dealing with, and figuring out a way to connect, with people just like we're doing right now. You know?
Yeah, it's weird. It's have you tuned into one of those virtual CLE shows yet?
I have, yeah.
It's crazy how how even though you're so distant and everything's through the screen, it's kind of like a 10x3, or it's kind of like a Manic Mike night or a gig. It's almost, but you're in your room and you're in front of a screen, and it's a strange phenomenon that you can be so close but not.
I think that's what we're learning right now.
Yeah.
How do we be close but not be in the same physical space? And this particular quarantine would be a different thing if it was the 1990s or the 80s.
Yeah, for sure.
It would just be a completely different type of feeling. But the fact that we have technology to do all these different things, I think, is a great thing for people when they want it.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people shy away from it. I know I have my back and forth with, being tied in. Sometimes I want to be, and sometimes I don't want to be at all.
Yeah.
And that's just me trying to find balance in my life. And I think it's probably different for everybody. But I think the fact that we have it is really a positive thing for people to be able to get through this particular part of our lives, because it's a moment that, not a moment, but these are days that we won't forget, and we will come out of it changed. And also, our interactions will be different as well. I have a feeling that, you will probably continue doing a podcast, and there will be, different virtual shows that are still going to happen. And so now I think the way that people connect with music and with people are going to change a bit,
Yeah.
And I think it's all good, as long as we're still talking and communicating. That's the main thing.
For sure. Definitely. I stumbled upon a quote from Joe Strummer, I forget, a couple days ago, and it really kind of resonated with me with everything that's going on. And the quote was, "Without people, you're nothing." And you know what I mean? If you really think about it, if no one's and that was really, I don't know, blowing my mind at the time. And so,
Sure.
And that was right after doing Gauls. I think I did Gauls' second show. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so hyped up from it, and Joe's right. Without people, I'm nothing. And I think that's to some degree what you're saying, and whatever way we come out of this, and whatever way we learn to communicate, and I think those interactions are going to be more maybe appreciated, hopefully appreciated, and hopefully more I feel like if we would go on Facebook now and see some band doing a live stream, it's more appreciated than maybe like a month ago if some band was doing that.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think that's definitely true.
And
Yeah.
I think that appreciation for someone doing something and making just expressing themselves in some way is going to be hopefully as equally as appreciated after all this.
I think it will be. I think it will be. I also think, and my hope is that, that people, when it's safe and everyone feels comfortable, you know, that they'll get out and see music, because I think
Yeah.
the one thing that that I know I'm missing is just that interaction with others while playing music. And I think that, live music is different than music over the internet or recorded music. I mean, when you see somebody live and they're doing their thing, you can feel it,
Yeah.
more so than you can, by watching it on a screen or, just being in the physical presence of music and seeing that happen, hearing it happen. Uh, I think that's the kind of thing that stirs people's souls, and that's the reason why we do it. So I'm hoping that, in the end, like, people will appreciate, man, what I really missed while I was under quarantine was just going out and seeing bands. So I hope people go out and just, like, you know, go out and support bands and songwriters and whoever else is doing music, just to experience that and be around people, to
Yeah.
watch that and experience that together.
Or
I think
even
that's something that I know I'm missing, that connection. I think playing a lot of gigs makes you very attuned to a room, makes you very aware of uh, where things lie, the energy that's in a room, and having that on a regular basis is really a refreshing thing. Sometimes it's negative, or
yeah.
sometimes it's positive, but either way, you're getting something that you're having to process, and therefore then be able to emote as to how you're feeling about it by playing, and that's not something that can be done now.
Yeah. I mean,
We all need to be in the same physical space for that to happen.
for sure. There's some bar gigs where I feel like they go as equally as excited as the online shows, where you're
Well,
just.
yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
um,
I'm sure.
but Ray had a really good way of thinking about it, and he said if you're doing good, you start to you become part of the atmosphere, and if you were doing bad, the atmosphere is going to be changed, and people are going to notice it. And if you're doing good, the atmosphere is going to be set. And I'm summing it up a little different than he did, and it's going to be set, and it will go unnoticed just because it's a different, relaxing type of atmosphere.
I think, yeah, Ray and I have, and Ray's wise, obviously. Ray and I have had a lot of conversations about gigs and,
Yeah,
finding the zen within a gig, wherever it is. And I definitely feel like there's a layer that, if it's a bar gig or a restaurant gig or something like that, there's really a layer that if you exist in, can be a really, really easy place to be, you know?
yeah.
The equivalent to kind of just, setting your cruise control in your car on a busy highway. You get over to that lane and all of a sudden no one's in your way.
Wow, that's a good metaphor for it.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
I just made that up.
that's good though. That's good though.
I was
That,
trying to stay away from sports. Everyone uses sports metaphors. So
yeah.
I was going to
Well,
try a car.
sports cars, everyone does it, observes it, makes sense. Another
Yeah.
thing thinking about, even just like when you see a band or see a musician live, your sound waves are changing the air, right? They're traveling through air. They're changing they're traveling through the molecules of the air. They're physically changing that. So to be in that place and be actually affected by that change, I think it resonates more, and hopefully, like going back to what we were saying, or what you were saying, with after all this is done, hopefully people crave that and want to come out and actually be in it and not just afraid to go out. Like, that's one thing I've been kind of thinking about. It's like how long will it take before everyone's cool with being in groups of people?
I think we're going to have to go backwards from where we're starting here.
Yeah.
I think that probably what will happen is they'll start to ease restrictions on certain things. And so therefore, people start to kind of test the waters a little bit, and it'll be a gradual thing of opening society back up in a healthy way. And I think that at some point, it'll be a gradual thing, but I think people will start to feel comfortable again.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope so. I think that's a good way that coming from top down, that would be a good way for things to go back to normal. It was all right. Now you can hang out in a restaurant, but it's every other booth and
right. Yeah, I mean, we're going to learn about social distancing. We're going to think about that all the time. We were walking today and just taking a walk, and there's an etiquette now that I found to walking along a sidewalk. If you're going to run into a group of people, it's as long as it's safe, you can go off onto the road and then you can pass. So there's a good social distance between the two, and everyone seems to be, well aware of that. And I think that's good. I just hope that doesn't change the way that we interact with people that we're so distant physically,
Yeah.
I've been a hugger for a long time. It's been hard not to hug people,
I feel that. Or even to switch it from the hug to the fist bump to the hey.
Yeah.
And then the hey from 6 feet away. And now the digital hey.
Right. Exactly.
Well, cool, man. Do you got any new releases coming out? Seems like a lot of our friends are about to have release shows next month, and
yeah, that's a bummer for them. I think that they'll be able to find their way.
for sure.
And people are kind of a closed audience at this point. I mean, you can really speak to them in a certain way because they're starving for new music too.
Yeah.
But I've just been working on some. I did a writers retreat in January. Spent a couple of days by myself writing some songs, and I've been gathering songs for a while. And Jack Ford's are working on a new record, and I'm hoping to get a new solo record out this year.
Nice.
I've been saying it for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So when you were writing for a Jack Ford's record and a solo record, is there any difference in approaching it, or do you just write a song and this one fits for this and this one fits for, I guess, myself?
Well, the Jack Ford's, the way we've been writing, which is something we've never done before. Usually I would kind of bang out a tune and teach it to the band, or Bobby, the guitar player, and I would get together and write a tune, write the music, and then I would write the lyrics, and then we'd introduce it to the band. But this time we've been getting together and then just hanging out and eventually starting on something. Somebody starts something, somebody does something else, and then we just start, a bit like sculpture, pounding it into shape,
Gotcha.
And so we have many ideas, just more than we know what to do with, I think, of new songs that we've all put together, as a group, which is something that we've never done before. So that's been a really fun process. So me not necessarily writing songs for the band, but the band just kind of writing songs for themselves. And that's been a cool process. So yeah, the songs that are mine, they're going to be the ones I write. The ones with the Jack Fords, the new ones, are going to be the one the band writes. So
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's great.
Any of these processes, it sounds like that one just developed naturally, but from teaching songwriting, do you find yourself falling into some of your lesson or song strategies that you would teach your class?
Yes, some of them. Yeah. I what I've learned, I used to, and with this process, it's a little bit different. Because because I would have written the song, I would have had more opinions about what's going on,
Yeah.
and this way, where we're all just kind of talking about it and forming it together, and everyone has input and everyone has a say, then I've learned to, just kind of let that sit back and develop, and many times it's I'm the last one to add anything, which has been a kind of a refreshing place to be. I think, just as far as the evolution of that particular band,
Hmm.
it's been a really fun thing to just kind of, everyone's input counts and everyone is adding something to it, and that just makes it, I think, a much more enjoyable experience for everybody. We all get out of it and we're like, man, it's awesome that we did that.
Well, yeah, it's definitely when you have a say in it, when it's a community effort in anything, if it's a show, if it's a song or a non-profit, whatever that may be, like the more people that can get involved into it, the more it's gonna, the more weight it's gonna carry. So that's exciting, man. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, me too. Hold on 1 second here. I'll be right back.
All right.
My phone's about to die.
Oh, okay.
So let me just plug that in quick.
Yeah, sorry. I initially pitched like 20 minutes, and I'm sure we've gone over that. But
Oh, no, that's okay. It's nice to talk.
yeah, likewise. But what ended up happening was, like, in that group chat, everyone got back to me differently, and some people I didn't know if they were gonna get back or not. So I was like, well, if I have one to put out and try to help out this show, hopefully, I'm sorry, my screen's like tilted up into light. I can't get rid of
Okay.
it.
There's a halo over your head. Yeah.
Wow.
I listened to the one with Emily. It sounded great. I
Thanks,
love
man.
Emily. She's amazing.
Yeah, her story is insane. Like, to be 16 and then be thrown in a production like that big, like, I don't know. At 16, you're trying to figure out the drive. You're trying to figure out the fake your way through algebra. Not like worry about like something as heavy as your career.
Well, Emily's special. She's wise beyond her years, and just the way that she carries herself is just such a, I don't know, it makes such an impression on me anyway. I think that she's just really so talented, and just, she came to the 10x3, I think when she was 13.
Wow.
And that's when I started to know about her, and I have all her first solo records,
Yeah.
And I mean, I just always thought that she was just really, there was something about her that was just really special. And, she's just so talented. Yeah,
Very
I'm
true.
thrilled to be playing this show with her and Jenna as well.
Yeah, Gal put up a really cool lineup. She's been doing that for each show. It's not like it's like, okay, I can see them two on a bill, and who that, and then who, and then, like, for some reason, there's always kind of like that oddball, but it fits really well. Like,
Right.
Not that Jenna's an oddball, but that
I
bill.
think I'm the oddball in this.
Or yeah, or even what I mean, or even, but when I like Liz, I did one with Liz and Mikey, and I'm like, I don't know if I know it. Like, I love all these guys musically and what they do, but it worked really well, and the transit in, like, who is it, Austin Walking Kane with Ray. Like, I was like, okay, I've seen Ray and Maddie do a lot of stuff together, but that's really cool that they got Austin involved. You know what I mean? Like, God's got a good way of piecing together bills in a way that's not like purposely genre different. You know what I mean? Even though those bills are always interesting, and I feel like the oddball out, the genre that sticks out, the acoustic guy at the rap show gets a lot of applause just for doing something different. But
Yeah.
so when did you do the 10x3? When did you start that in your Cleveland career?
Well, that would have been 2010.
2010.
2010. Yeah.
And what brought that about? Was it from
Well,
playing at the Brothers?
I got asked by Brothers to if I wanted a night there, and I was just trying to think of what I could do. I remember very specifically I was on vacation in Maine, or on New Hampshire actually. I was on the beach and I was talking to the owner, and I'm just like, well, I just don't want it to be an open mic. It needs to be something different. It needs to be, something special. And so I came up with that concept of it, that approach, based upon an experience I had in Nashville playing a place called 12th and Porter. There's a guy named Daniel Tashian who's a great songwriter, but also a great producer. And he had a showcase at 12th and Porter every Monday called 12 on 12. And
Hmm.
so it was 12 artists doing 2 songs each. And you would just call them ahead of time and you'd book your slot. And I just thought it was a really organized way of doing things. And, it just kind of led to some really incredible musical experiences for everybody. And so I wanted to repeat that in a nod to that particular event, but then also to just kind of put something different out there and have some structure to it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because Mike Nights can be a madness, especially.
I think they're amazing places for people to start. Um, what I just wanted to kind of take the things that I really didn't like about open mics away from the process, which was not knowing when you were going to play
Yeah.
until you got there. So you couldn't necessarily tell family or friends. On a Wednesday night, it's hard to bring people out. But if you say I'm going to play at 8 o'clock, maybe they'll come out for a half hour or something. And so having a scheduled time, I think, is helpful. And then, I was really just very strong, uh, very strong belief about it not being about cover songs.
Yeah.
And so it needed to be about original stuff, and that's what I wanted to have played. So that was kind of the other approach I decided on that as well.
No, it's super cool because a lot of places, a lot of people go out and hit Wonderwall, and maybe they're one they wrote.
Yeah, I've seen that happen many times, and they'll come and play the same songs, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want this event to be that.
And to have a place where you can do the original and it's all right to some degree. Like when you're doing a mic night, in some spots you're like, oh, this is the one shot I have to maybe impress the bartender who might say something to the owner and then make it a gig. They're like, oh yeah, they did all these covers. And if you'd come there and do your own stuff, depending on the place, that's gonna not spark anyone's attention. So like to
Yeah,
have an outlet for that is really cool.
yeah, I agree. I agree. It's hard to say, what's going to get you a gig, but I think that I'd rather just play original songs and get fired for playing those. or not or
Yeah.
not get the gig.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it when you started it? How long did it take for? Okay, because you're coming at a mic night with structure. Once you start to put structure in anything, it takes a minute for people to get hip to how it works. Like,
Sure.
how many weeks did it take before it was like the night's full? Um, they're listening. You know what I mean? They're coming in with all originals, arguably.
Well, the original thing was pretty. I didn't have any problem because I pretty much strictly enforced it.
Okay, cool.
And so that was something that just kind of never really had too many issues on that. And all this time that I've done it, there's only been a handful of experiences where people have kind of stretched that to a point where it was inappropriate, I thought. But yeah, well, uh, yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say it had to take a couple nights to really get it going, but for something that's it's been going as long as it has been going, like that's impressive. Not too many mic nights last the year, let alone 2 years of a night. So to have one going for as long as you have, it's definitely an achievement.
I feel lucky. I do. I feel very fortunate to be facilitating it, and I kind of feel like it's not me who's doing it; it's everyone else that's doing it. I'm just kind of, opening up
Yeah.
the place to make it happen. But the listening room stuff, I think, is important. And that's something I started, I think, 3-4 years ago, and that aspect. I just thought, here we are on a Wednesday night, and there's people playing original songs, and people just need to, shut up and listen to them because
Yeah.
I just wanted a space like that. Like if I had a perfect world of how I thought that an event like that should be, I just have tried to create it. And the great thing is that Brothers has been really supportive of everything that I do, and there's open communication, and we discuss things, and we talk about things, and we try to improve, and so I feel like a big part of that whole night is actually brothers having a good partnership with them. Has really made a difference, because I don't think there's a lot of places you could go into and say, "Hey, I'm going to have this open mic, but by the way, I'm going to tell everyone to shut up."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, were they?
You mean those people over there that are having dinner? You're going to tell them to shut up?
Yep,
Yeah,
and if
I'm going to
not, they
tell them
gotta
to shut up.
leave.
So it's somewhat bold, but
Yeah,
my hope is that number one, that the musicians feel respected when they come there, and that they can feel what it's like when people listen. And the other thing is that I think that when people do listen, there's a different energy in the room, and that's when those greater musical moments happen. I say this all the time at the 10x3, but it really, I believe it, that that energy is put towards the stage. Therefore, everyone feels it, and the performer, the musician, the songwriter rises to the occasion. And that's the thing that I live for. And it never fails me. It never, every night that I've been there, even some of the nights that I can say were disasters, still had, these redeemable moments that were like, that's exactly why I'm doing this. So I do think it's the people that bring the energy to that.
definitely. Wow. So like, with what was a redeeming? What was like a moment? I don't want. No, that's probably a bad idea. To bring up what was a disaster and what was the redeemable moment. But
Well, the redeemable moments,
yeah, let's
those
go
are
with that.
much easier to talk about.
Yeah.
The disasters, I kind of don't
Yeah,
even remember, because I think I blocked them out of my brain. I just move on so quickly. I don't put a lot of stock into it,
that's a
but
good.
the things that I've seen, are somebody like Emily,
Yeah.
for instance, who came there and played when she was young, and I followed her doing her thing. It's just, it's been amazing to watch Ray Flanagan, watching Ray do his thing, watching Michelle, and just there's been a connection with that place and the people that I think is just it's a really special thing, and I don't take it for granted at all. I really feel like there's been a good group of people that have come through, and there's always you see people fall, but then you see people who you wouldn't think, and I know you know this too, because you posted open mics, like the person that you think is going to be like the most not fun to watch, the most uninteresting, all of a sudden will just blow your mind, because they'll do something or say something, you'd be like, that's what I was waiting for. Thank you.
True. And I guess that's everyone you've mentioned and many, many more respect that space you have and the opportunity you give them with that space, and how you've conditioned it to be what it is. And it's such a unique experience that it's gonna I imagine always have that moment that you were talking about that comes out of just listening and having that. But like how you're saying, there's definitely the people that will drop a thing or do a thing that you wouldn't expect to come from that person, that changes your whole perspective on how things should run or how things should be. And that goes back to that listening and how important listening is.
Yeah, I definitely think when people listen, you're going to catch those moments. They get so easily lost sometimes if you don't pay attention.
Definitely. And they go by quick too.
They do. The inference in something is this. It's just like conversation. What did you say?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I missed that. What was that?
Huh? Okay.
Yep. Got to be listening.
Cool, man. Well, I think we'll cap it right here, man, because I think that was a good spot to end. And I really appreciate your time and making this happen.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I listened to the Emily podcast, and I haven't listened to Ray's, but I'm saving that for another time.
Okay, well, hey, it's.
I love Ray, and I'm sure Ray's got interesting things to say. So
he definitely does.
I'm looking forward to listening to that one. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate it, Brent. And the sound all right over the phone stuff, over the podcast.
I think this works.
Okay, cool.
Let me know if you need anything from me, but Yeah, thank you for everything that you're doing
Appreciate it.
and talking and shedding light, you know.
Well, thank you. And it's this Friday, so I'm going to put this out tonight because that's coming up soon. This Friday, tomorrow, 8 p.m., virtual show in your living room. Brent Kirby. All right, Brent, I'll see you, man.
All right, thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. See you on Friday.
Bye. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.